those items, those things, my time was, worth something to me.
Yeah.
And you were able to just take it from me.
Yeah.
And you were able to just take it from me.
Yeah.
And you were able to just take it from me. And so a lot of it is like ownership.
Isn't that what I told you? Time's a luxury, it's the only asset that we can't get back.
And so a lot of it is like ownership.
Isn't that what I told you? Time's a luxury, it's the only asset that we can't get back.
Yeah, so you took, I exchanged my time for all of those, things in that game, and you took it from me. So I think we're going to see stuff like gaming, we're going to see stuff like music royalties, people are going to put books on the blockchain, but like, just for the food truck example, just trying to abstract it to anything, like you could have a set of food trucks all over the country, and
especially
100 NFTs.
Yeah.
And if you own one of these NFTs, you get free food once a day at the food truck or something.
Yeah.
And like somehow a market's created for them, and people are trying to buy them for more and more or sell them.
And see, like the buying of the NFT will help set up, at least within the food truck network, we're like rolling up their fees or whatever, so that we can convert it the easiest and best timing, so that they get the maximum of it in whatever their currency of choice, so that they can use it to run their day-to-day operations.
Yeah, I mean, most major governments are developing central bank digital currencies right now. Like they know the jig's up, and they gotta get on board, or
they've been kicking and screaming, and now they just woke up like, oh shit, now we gotta get it.
Yeah, it's gonna roll out pretty quick here. I don't know. It's gonna be strange for a lot of people, and I think that some sort of a large event has to happen. Some sort of a big black swan event where it's like, oh no, help us, and then we're gonna get some sort of a UBI through some sort of because of the stimulus checks. I was following that really closely because we were talking about doing some sort of a digital payment, and then instead it became cards. But they were really looking at like, can we just deploy this digitally overnight in a day, just get money in people's hands, and like and that could have been an opportunity to just like flip it on its head, but the tech's not ready.
Yeah, it's not there yet, but it needs. It's already getting the infusion of money, and I think just a little bit of time. But I think almost culturally, we're kind of like getting there. We're having like spasms every now and then.
I mean, China's got it down pretty well. They're already walking up to places and scanning QR codes with their phones, and then paying in a central bank digital currency without even knowing they're interacting with a blockchain. And as we abstract from that, when you're going around and you're not knowing that you're using a blockchain, that's when it's going to take off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Facebook is trying to develop their metaverse.
I know, fuck them.
Which is... it's going to be real scary, but, like, they're not going to be the only metaverse. There's going to be a huge development for that, where you can already go play, like, Decentraland.
I only feel bad for people that don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, because by the time they do, it's going to be so abstracted that they don't.
They're going to be locked. Really they're going to be locked into fucking a gated community for their whole entire life.
Well, yeah, that's already just happening with the internet.
I know,
right? You're stuck on Facebook with your Google, maybe your Twitter and your YouTube, where it's all heavily thought policed. Facebook was really trying to just deploy their own global currency there for a second.
Yeah.
It got shut down.
They try to sneak it in with no one looking.
They really
everybody's
were
like, whoa, wait, hold the brakes. What's going on?
They're like, oh, it's just a game token, for our platform.
Fucking assholes.
But soon it's gonna be, play on the metaverse with your, crypto tokens and look at our ads. and buy our NFTs, but you're not going to know they're NFTs. You're not going to know you're using cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I mean, everybody younger than us is already digitally doing everything, like their skins and their games. Once the back end layer gets smoother of the open Web3, then we just need to onboard everybody, and then they'll realize by experiencing it that other place is the devil.
Well, and like I think you're right, when the Fortnite kids,
the Fortnite kids, parents
spend $15,000 on skins, and then they're playing the next game, and Fortnite starts to drift out of existence. They're gonna be like,
"Oh my god, I wasted my life! I wasted my life. What have I become?"
Well, they're gonna be like, "Why can't I sell these now?"
Yeah.
Or why can't I keep it and take it to the next game? Because that's what's happening with, loot is the best example of that.
Yeah.
Where
that's the beginning.
I have my loot, it can be used in this game, it can be used in that game.
And in that sense,
I can take it and sell it.
It's like they're teaching people like what's the utilitarian value of being able to do it interoperable.
Yeah, I think a lot of crazy stuff is on the horizon, but I'm trying to keep up, and like I've been lucky enough that this is just pretty much blockchain research has been my day job, so it's
cool.
Also very profitable. And then I had a whole ass child.
Yeah, so how old is your kid now?
He just turned 2.
Oh, okay, cool.
Me and my lady also just broke up, so single dad stuff is really really weird, but I'm trying to get on top of it.
Yeah.
Life is a bit crazy, but I'm trying to get, back into mines, but it is like I'm kind of yelling into an empty hallway sometimes.
Oh yeah.
There's not really shit going on. Like I have more stuff going on Twitter, but I'm mostly just lurking to get information.
That's why I've always kept the candle burning in Imaginarium, because more so than whatever it does on mines, it's the concept that matters, So
yeah, and it's something that was preached in early mines, and kind of in this new. I don't know if you've seen like the Project Blue Sky for Twitter. They're trying to make a decentralized social media platform, but this same idea of taking your skins or your loot or whatever and taking it somewhere else. Cross-chain identities or cross-platform identities are the next thing on the horizon.
Yep.
When you're gonna have your account on Mines, and maybe Mines isn't the hallway to shout into.
What I've been telling people too is and more so too as a developer, but thinking about it culturally too, your wallet is gonna be the new resume. Like that's how you're gonna show what you could do.
Well, yeah, because so their DIDs is decentralized identity.
Yeah.
The one that is actually going to be the first great experiment. Let me pull it up. Is Kilt. I don't know if you've seen Kilt. It's a beautiful platform. The idea is that your identity is not just your identity. Your identity is a bunch of pieces of distributed information where different authorities have vouched certain things about you.
Yeah.
And that idea has changed the whole way I think about identities, because you have your birth certificate, and that's how you prove your name and stuff. And that's an authority from the government. And so you bring your birth certificate to the DMV to get your driver's license, and they're like, "Oh, I know that this is you because I trust the government."
Yeah.
And it's this big web, this chain of all of these different pieces that all reference each other based on different trusted things, and all of these different entities are attesting to different data, and that's how you prove you're you. And then we're going to bring that on chain, where someone in the real world that I can go, to the DMV or whatever, and I can be like, "Hey, this is my wallet," and then they'll go on chain and say, "Hey, I confirm that that's that person."
Yeah.
And then it connects to your real identity, and then and then it starts getting a little scary, because that's when you get your social credit scores and but for finance, that's how you get uncollateralized lending on the blockchain and stuff, like you would with a regular bank, where I can do stuff with deeds to properties as NFTs and all of that nonsense. Identities are the missing link there. But then it's going to be use your wallet to log in here, use it to log in there, use it to, everything. And then it becomes some global identifier. So I don't know. It's there's a lot that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's so many. I've done so much learning, and
have you seen that Black Mirror where they do the social like score, where they like every interaction you like rate them?
Oh no, I haven't. But yeah, that's basically
it fucking turns your mind inside out. You're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be real bad.
Like that's what China's doing.
I know.
Like based on who you're interacting with or things you've said online, and it's gonna be really easy to do that without it being, quote the government.
Yeah.
Right? When you're just like, it's open, it's out there on the chain. Anyone can see it, so we're gonna use that data to judge you. Because these are all things that I'm so passionate about, but it's also the fears of my entire life in a culmination. It's really strange.
That's that. At least my fear is more for the older generation and other people that don't realize what's going on, but not for myself. Like, at least in this form, I could navigate, and I'll be all right. Because that's the thing, is like, you're either gonna be in a starfish world of an ecosystem, or you're gonna be in a spider world where each web is pulled by a single entity.
Yeah, it's hard for me to tell exactly which direction it's going to go in, because the power of force is still there.
That's true.
I was thinking about this, is that the power of force is still there, that, the government can just say, no more stable coins and try and shut it down and make things illegal, but like, it'll kind of just be people trying to circumvent it.
Yeah.
And it'll be this kind of fight, but it's always been a fight. So I don't know where it's going to go, but I know that, they're investigating Uniswap right now.
I know.
But you can't shut it down.
You can't shut it down.
But there are synthetic assets, so like synthetic stocks, synthetic commodities, that were trading on Uniswap for a minute, and the front end of Uniswap actually delisted them. And there was a huge uproar about it because, it's a decentralized protocol, this, that, and the other thing. But they only did it on the front end because the front end is the only thing that they, as an organization, have full centralization over. So you can still technically use, Ethereum contracts and interact.
Yeah, you got to do it directly. They'll make it easy for you.
But yeah, they don't make it easy. So it's gonna kind of be that thing where like.
That's how the black market. That's how the black market always worked, right?
True that. Yeah. But they shut down Tor. They shut down all the good.
I know.
All the good black markets there anyway.
But the concepts still survive, and that's what basically the starfish and the spider is about. And then I like that he goes back to, like, even like in the physical world. The one example that he used that was pretty good was with the Apaches and the Spaniards. So, the Aztecs, the Mayans, they all fell to the Spaniards. And there's a lot of, factors. There's a lot of factors into why, the Aztecs and the Mayans fell to the Spaniards. But one aspect to the Apache, why they resisted and fighted so long, and that they didn't get conquered by the Spaniards, and later, they surrendered to the Americans. But because, like, there was no centralized person, there was local advisors and shamans, but just because you destroyed one little tribe, it didn't matter. Like, other tribes weren't taking orders from, like, Geronimo. Like, Geronimo just fought and everybody kind of followed him, but other made their own decisions, in the sense too. There was like the Americans fighting the Taliban and Al Qaeda and stuff like that. It's not a directly centralized group that's taking orders from one person. It's just like an idea, then everybody makes up their own way to execute it in their own region.
So I just purchased the book, the Starfish and the Spider. But now you make me want to understand the organizational structure and decentralization of the Taliban.
Yeah.
You know, like that'd be so interesting to figure out, like, oh, they're very successment because of some specific structure they have that we should aspire to in some way.
Well, at least understand it better. The other example that he does is okay. There's that movie. What's it called? Gun Ho, and it's with Michael Keaton, and it's like in the 80s, and it's about like Ford having some of the Toyota guys over, and it's like this kind of like funny movie that it's about, oh, the Japanese people need to know how to have fun, and the Americans need to know how to be serious in the factory. But real story was that back in the day, Ford and American Motors was the shit, and like it was the market. And this up-and-coming Japanese motor company came, and then they finally kind of did better, like in the 60s, 70s, and they wanted to know why, so some of the CEOs were going back and forth. And according to this guy, part of it was that they listened to people on the line. They had a suggestion box, and they actually took them seriously. And so when they found out majority of the suggestions were practical and common sense and were easy to implement, they gave them some autonomy to just execute it. And this is why they outperform the Americans. Not because the Japanese needed to know how to have fun, and not because the Americans needed to be a little serious. No, because that people that interact with the line day to day know how to make it more efficient better than someone on the top that abstractly doesn't know what's going on day to day.
And I think the lesson that I take from that I see growing is in a DAO where the user experience is very friendly. Because that's the thing that hasn't happened too much. Is it's kind of been difficult and very technical to go vote or access or submit a proposal or do anything to interact or participate, or unless you're an influencer and you're like, you should do this, and maybe it happens. But as we're getting to better user experience, where over the last 6 months to a year, like, I have never participated in governance in platforms of any kind as much as I have, because it's getting easier for regular people to get involved and do things where you can just go submit a proposal. It doesn't even have to be, a big piece of code, right? You're not like, it's not like a pull request. You're submitting a proposal. They're quite simple. A bunch of people get behind it, and then it gets worked on because it's backed with, tokens or whatever to support it. And then those tokens can either just be a vote, or it can be some sort of a funding allocation from a treasury, and then those things actually happen and those things are successful. So I think that is a really good story, a really good lesson, because that worked then, and now we're starting to see that it can work now in like a decentralized fashion.
Yeah, in a lot more streamlined fashion, and like that principle of letting, like, empowering people to make decisions locally, like directly and more peer to peer, and I think we just need to like keep on doubling down on what is like successful. So say you scatter these projects and they get minor funding, and some peter out or whatever, then you just kind of like roll up what the dying ones into whatever the next ones are. Like kind of like what a plant does. There's some leaves that are weak or whatever, and then you gotta like kind of like prune it a little bit so that where the branches are stronger and more beautiful flowers are coming, that they get more of the resources.
Yeah, I think the only problem we run into, it's the same problem across all democracy that we've had, and that's kind of why democracy works in this country the way it does, is because when you let all the little people who are most likely dumb or don't understand how the thing works have an equal vote in what's happening, especially in these financial products, they make bad or biased decisions, right? For instance, like voting for, increasing the APR on the pool that they're in, right? Everyone wants to vote, increase the APR, I'll make more money, but also, it's rapidly increasing the supply and this and that. People don't understand all the consequences.
They're just network effect of it.
Yeah, they have this network effect where everyone gets on board with this thing because it directly benefits them, but it actually screws up the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's hard to even deal with democracy decisions like that.
I know. Well, I think too, that's why we don't have we need more stories like the starfish and the spider. We need more references, like we've always been talking about this, but we're losing touch of these actual models and metaphors in which we could talk about it and also reference experiences. Because I think for this whole wave, it needs to be that way. Where if just we hit our head against the wall, because that's when a majority of us learn. And so then the next wave, we're like, okay, that didn't really work. Let's all grow up and learn this. But it's also going to be. Oh, that's a bad thing. There's not enough time to get everybody up to speed. Because those people that are the riffraff, they're going to get swallowed up by the spiders. They're going to be stuck in the webs, man. They're not going to be able to grow into starfish.
Yeah, right. So it's like we're making all these building blocks.
Yeah.
But anybody can use them.
Yeah.
Including the spiders.
Yeah, including the spiders. Yeah.
They can go ahead and take it and deploy it in a larger scale fashion.
Yeah.
Because they have all these resources, but they're actually not as organized as I would have thought.
Oh,
That's the only hope that I have, is that it is a scrambling, gibbering mess where nobody can allow anyone to make any decisions, right? So this decentralized, renegade, operation, mindset functions better.
Look at Elon. Okay, so Elon does his thing, and then the stupid people follow him, but the second time they don't. Not enough.
What are you referring to? Follow him to do what? When he first pumped Doge, then a couple months later he tried to do it again, and then everyone was like, whatever. I don't know. It's still. I talk to so many people that have this holder mentality. It's this weird psychological conditioning that happened in those communities, where it's just everybody be the bag holder. Everybody be the bag holder and allow these large institutions to dump on you, and then buy back in, and weird things. Like my dad's a techie. He's always been in IT since I was a kid, and I could never get him into crypto. Never get him to look at blockchain. Mm-hmm. He bought Shiba Inu. He bought Doge. He bought.
I know what you're talking about.
These ones where they're this popular media influence that gets people to that's the first thing they see.
Yeah.
And I really see it as a manipulation ploy.
Oh yeah.
Because Elon and some of these other wealthy people that are playing this game.
Well, they're doing exactly that. They're pumping it up, and then when it goes down, they double down again.
Because they got in trouble from the SEC before for. Talking about their stocks weird, or different
Elon
things.
Has a history of this.
And then but with crypto, he's he knows enough about Bitcoin. He knows enough about Ethereum. I know that Tesla is doing things with energy web chain and some very very hush hush NDA plays in crypto. And then he's the most successful global currency of Mars will be the Dogecoin meme, you guys. It's literally a joke.
I know.
He knows so much more than he is showing anybody.
Dude, I remember when it came out, I was pacing and besides myself, I was he's not that stupid. And there's the whole thing about Bitcoin being energy wasteful and all this kind of stuff. I was I literally did a show 4 years ago on is Bitcoin sustainable. Are you telling me Elon doesn't know this? give me a break. Like this can't be reality. Like, can anybody believe this?
Well, and it
so
wasn't. It was definitely a ploy.
Oh yeah, it was. It definitely was.
Gave him a good opportunity
but
for
people
his companies to buy in.
don't know enough to know that is an obvious joke. It's an obvious ploy. Oh my god, I have this like conversation every like month with one of my friends, and I'm like, no, don't buy Doge. And I'm like, no, don't do it. Like, I constantly tell him the reasons why not to do it. Like, it's just frustrating to know him.
Well, yeah, I've annoyed every single person I know with all of my blockchain bullshit for years now.
Yeah.
And then they're finally like, okay, I'm ready to hear about Doge.
And you're like, what?
Fuck yourself.
Yeah. I want to die. It's so frustrating. Like, and then my friend doesn't understand like how frustrating it is to me. I was just like, okay, whatever. But luckily, I only help him buy Ethereum. And he hasn't explored enough to do anything else. It's like, once he's ready to play and actually explore, then I'll show him what's up. Or at least, here, go play over there. Let's stop.
Yeah, at this point, I've at least been able to, meet with clients and just do blockchain education from like scratch. My thing that I try to do is like bring on clients that I can like talk to your grandma about, everything from not even being able to get on the smartphone kind of stuff. Because that's what needs to be done, and it's kind of that like.
Have you